I think the other thing that you kind of touched on a little bit there as well is feeling like your unmasked version is as worthy as your masked version.
Brilliant.
I think one of the things that sometimes we touch on here, and like I try and bring to the fore, is like there's a sense like we're only wanted in our masked version, and then the kind of like the reality of the situation is like it's not wanted, it's not accepted, it's kind of like diversity is a tick box exercise. Sometimes it can feel like I was having like a really interesting conversation last week. I'm like working on a sponsor for the podcast and it's like a large organization, and like they wanted my audience and my message and my ideas, but like they didn't want my disorganization, and I was like, really, they go hand in hand. Like you don't get one without t'other. And so I think there's this, to me, what I try and practice and preach is being like worth my challenges, is the like the way that I think about it. Like that's how I think about unmasking. It's like, yes, these are these elements that are frustrating, and I'm as frustrated by them as, you know, an employer or people that deal with me are, but I'm worth bearing with, is the way that I like try and think about it.
You couldn't put it better yourself, myself, Natalie. I completely agree with it. It's funny, isn't it? We create this mass. You're so spot on. We create this mass version of ourselves because we don't feel that the real person behind is something that they want, or is good enough, or is able to, you know, to fulfill what it is, whatever it is. And that's a struggle, because it's almost like I said, living, you know, two parallels, two lives. But one of the things that is, you know, and you mentioned about the podcast and getting sponsorship, and it's funny, isn't it? Because is that, you know, they want the you know, they want everything, literally everything they create, and that's amazing. But the disorganized side of it is the reason, you know, in your words, not mine, but in the reason why it's there is because of the person that you are. And, you know, and I struggle sometimes trying to be completely perfect for everyone, for every situation.
Like people want the unique thinking and the like the lateral ideas and the simplified thoughts, but they want that in a nice, organized, easy to deal with package. And you're like, I mean, if we had that, then, you know, like, wouldn't life be great? It doesn't work like that. But the way that I feel about it is I'm really worth, one makes up for the other, and I feel like they kind of they go kind of quite symbiotically, rather than seeing them as separate. I kind of see them quite together, and I think that really helps with the unmasking element.
Yeah, and it's having that confidence, isn't it? You know, we have to think, you know, we mask for different reasons at different time in different situations. You know, we might walk into you know, a certain place and speak in a different way because everyone else is speaking in a different way. Or we might think, you know, we'll walk into a room and we'll naturally grab our mobile phones because, you know, we feel uncomfortable. And there's so many scenarios that if you start thinking about it, when are you masking? And this isn't something that you're going to be able to sort of change overnight. I think the understanding when you start masking and the reasons why you start masking, then you can start, you know, work backwards and think, you know, but why am I masking? Is it because I don't feel confident in this meeting room, or I don't feel confident in work environment? Is it a skill thing? Do I need to upskill? Is it, you know, I think if you spent an exercise on this and worked backwards, I think you could pinpoint a few times that you do mask. It's something, I guess, and you'll be amazed who masks as well.
Oh, totally, definitely.